One of the most common mistakes that I watch people make over and over and over again when it comes to goal setting is that they only measure one side of the equation. See, most people only set output-driven goals, meaning they set a goal like, I want to make 100K or $1 million this year. Or they set a goal like, I'm going to weigh a certain amount. Or they set a goal around how many new friends they're going to have. Or, how popular they'll be. And there's always some type of end result that is the actual goal. And of course, this is normal and there's nothing wrong with it, and it's much better than not setting goals at all. The only problem is that you're lacking half of the equation. And when you miss this half, you actually miss the half that creates the end result. What I'm talking about here, of course, is an input goal. See, if you're trying to make a certain amount of money, you will probably have to do a certain amount of activity. What objectives do you actually have to complete? And how can you measure those in numbers rather than just measuring the end result? Now, in both cases, it's typically very helpful to focus on a number because it's measurable. It's something that you can really attain and you can know when you've hit it. That's why so many people are driven by financial goals, because it's really easy to measure and track your bank account and see how much money you have in there. On the other hand, there's so many other areas of your life where you can measure with numbers too. And you should think like this in every area of your life, because it will create faster progress, more growth, accelerated growth, and also more happiness and fulfillment along the way. The biggest reason why people get distracted and fall off track and feel like they can never achieve what they want is because they get addicted to cheap sources of dopamine, which they use to medicate the fact that they're not getting what they really want. But when you do this, you actually hack your brain and the system. And instead of just being a victim to, oh, I don't feel good today, their source of feeling good will be making progress towards your goal. So start by taking a measurable output. Let's say, for instance, by the end of the year, I want to learn 3 new dance moves. Well, in order to create that end result, I have to do an input of practicing those dance moves, I don't know, let's say 3 to 5 times a day. So now I know where I'm going. I know what the end result is. It's measurable. It has a number attached to it. It's an output that, is attainable, but also it's exciting. Maybe this is something that I really, really want to do. I'm just using this as an example. I'm not actually trying to learn 3 dance moves, believe it or not. And now with the input, it's fairly easy for me to go, oh, well, it makes logical sense that I would have to put in this much work to get this result. This is a random example, but the same thing goes for if you're trying to make $1 million. Now you got to look at, all right, well, how many sales do I have to make? And in order to make those sales, how many calls would I have to do? Or how many products do I have to ship? Right? So something that you can track on both sides makes it so much easier to actually achieve. Because if you're just looking at, oh yeah, I want to make $1 million, and you don't know how many customers you need, you don't know where that money's going to come from, it's overwhelming, you're confused, and whenever you're trying to make progress towards that goal, you put that big goal on the wall, right? $1 million. If you've never done it before, it's like a really big deal, right? So you look at that and you're overwhelmed. You want that financial security, that freedom, but you can't seem to make progress towards it because every time you look at it, you actually end up feeling kind of sick or just bad, guilty, right? Because you put this big objective, this big thing, you made a promise to yourself that you were going to go and achieve, and then you don't, which crushes your self-esteem. But when you measure input, it makes it way easier, because if you made $100 and you never made that before, you're making progress. If you made 1,000, that's progress. 10K, oh my, that's progress. 100 grand, wow, you're really moving in the right direction now. And that is a completely different picture. Now, I'm not saying go chase money. It's just easy to measure and a very easy example that most people will use. But what I'm really saying to you is you have to take charge of both sides. Most people are only looking at the outcome. They're not controlling what creates the outcome. The input is not being managed properly. And so they end up feeling miserable, depressed, and then medicating themselves so that they can feel better about the fact that they're not making progress towards that goal that they want. Maybe for you, it is about improving or growing in your career. Maybe it is about relationships. Maybe it is about your health. You can track and measure numbers in every area of your life, and you can complement that properly with measuring numbers on the input side so that you know that the activity that you're doing is actually leading you to where you're trying to go. Otherwise, what's the sense in doing it? This is what hacks our brain and makes it so that we're engaged. Now every week you can track, okay, how much did I do on input? That's why I have the output that I have. If the input is not matching up to the output that you would have expected, now you have to change it. Let's say, for instance, you estimated you need 20 sales calls in order to make, I don't know, $10,000. So you did 20 sales calls, but you only made 5K. Well, now you know you probably need more like 40 because, well, basic math and logic, right? So it's really, really simple to make adjustments and to improve along the way when you track like this. And when you're just like, oh, I want to be a great basketball player, no wonder, it's just, you're gonna fall flat on your face because you're not measuring how many of your free throws are you gonna hit, what angles. I'm terrible at basketball, so horrible example for me to use, but you get the idea. So what I really, really want you to focus on is, what is the input? How can I drive the results? And take responsibility for that, because so many times in self-improvement, we hear this thing over and over and over again, take responsibility for your life. Right? You gotta be in charge. You're the one who's responsible for wherever you are right now. It's all your fault. And that's true, but you can't really control that if you don't know the input. So figure out the input and drop it in the comments below. Let's hear it. What is the input that you have to do to get the goal that you want? What's your output goal? What do you want to get at the end? But what's the input that you have to actually do in order to get closer to that, in order to make some real tangible progress? You're welcome, by the way. If you've never heard this before, it probably unlocked something in you where you realized, hey, maybe this is why I'm stuck or not making progress. I'm just looking at the thing that I want at the end, but not really the thing that I need to do to get what I want at the end. That makes a big difference. And once I switched into that, creating money became easy. Good relationships, not very hard. Good health, not very difficult either, because you know what you need to do to get what you want. And when you measure both, you're in charge and you actually have some control over the input. Now the output is going to be more of what you want it to be.